I think winters in Stardew Valley are one of the more neglected and underplayed seasons of all time. Even in the 100 days videos, you pretty much skip the entire second half of winter. So I wanted to do a playthrough where I only played in the wintertime. And normally there's not a whole lot you can really do, but with a couple little tricks, I wanted to try and see if I could make the absolute most of it. I didn't want to just burn all my time chopping trees and diving in the regular mines, so I did a couple little things to see basically what can I get done in just 28 days of winter. And I knew it would start out pretty slow. There's really not much you can do this early on. You get a cat, which is, the usual thing you do early in spring. And then from there, all I can really do right now is chop some trees, clean up my farm a tiny bit, and just kind of make the most of a normal first day without having to plant anything. I will go over a couple things that I'm going to do. I will be using faster animations, and that's going to be via animation canceling or a mod called fast animations, depending on what I feel like doing, I guess. And yeah, I just kind of make my rounds on this first day, meet as many people as I can. I found a beach totem, which actually will come in handy for much later on. Or not much later on, but tomorrow, I guess. And upgraded my foraging a little bit. Nothing too crazy yet, but I do want to ramp things up really, really quickly. And the one way I'll be doing that is through clay farming. Clay farming is almost always the best early game money strategy. Just because it's so easy to do, it's so quick, and in the wintertime it's especially fruitful because instead of just clay, you basically dig up forage. And so you can use it as energy, you can use it to sell for a ton more, and it's pretty much going to fuel my entire winter. I use the pretty standard pattern where you do 6, 4, 6, 4, and move over again. It gets a little funky with spots you can't till. And if you want to see more detail about how to actually do this, if you just search it on YouTube, you can find out pretty good tutorials on basically how to do it. But it's just this pattern here, and it's going to net me a pretty significant amount of money, and that will get me started for getting into the Skull Caverns, getting our Joja Mart up and repaired and everything. I'm not going to rely on it too heavily past these first couple of days, because once we actually get our ticket to the Calico Desert, we really won't need to do clay farming anymore because our money will now come from iridium bars. It'll still be a little while before we get there, and right now we're still kind of in our early stages of figuring out how we're going to do this. And I originally thought we would make a ton of money through winter forage, but I essentially forgot that you have to have I think it's level 7 or 8 or something to make winter seeds. And so ultimately it just wasn't worth it at all. And we're already making a ton of money just from the winter clay farming. So it wasn't really any point. And I actually kind of wasted a significant amount of time early on trying to get my foraging up. And as you can see, I bought a ton of salads just because I'm going to head into the mines soon. And that's the best source of energy you can buy, and it's a little bit better than having to eat the winter forageables over and over and over again. And of course I did go the Joja route, because there's almost no way to do the community center in the wintertime. There's no way you could fix the entire thing up. You could maybe do mine carts if you got animals early on, but it just wasn't very likely, so there's no point. And then on the third day we got into the mines, just kind of rushing as deep as possible. There's no huge rush until we get the desert unlocked, but we do eventually need to get to level 120. I don't think I'll make a lot of progress in the realm of monster eradication goals or anything like that. So anytime I get, slime floors, it's just kind of a waste of time. It's not going to actually help me out. I think my main goals are going to be to get to Ginger Island and just make as much money as I possibly can from there. And we'll see what kind of percentage we'll end up with. It probably won't be super high, but ideally we'll make a pretty decent amount of money. And so right now we're just, focusing on more clay farming. It's kind of difficult sometimes to find like where the clay is, but once you find it, it's really easy to keep rolling. And what we're looking to do right now is upgrade our pick, and that'll kind of just get us moving through the mines a little bit faster, and also make skull caverns a little bit better too. So obviously we already have a ton of money, we have our copper bars, and we're sitting pretty well. We're sitting about as well as we would in a normal spring, and that's without any farming or anything like that. And again, this is a complete waste of time. I have no reason to be chopping any trees. I'll never need them. I won't be able to process wine at all. I won't use the foraging seeds, but this is kind of before I had a major plan, and I just decided not to go back and fix it all up. And so this is our second to last day of clay farming. And once we're finished with this, we should have enough money to buy out the desert and get the bus fixed. So that'll be our first major step towards making a decent amount of money. And other than that, we just have to hit the mines, try and go as far as we can, stock up on iron for bombs and slingshot ammunition if we can get to combat level 8. It's likely that we'll just rely on bombs for this run, just because we don't have very much time. So that's kind of where we're at. We got up to level 70, which isn't too bad. I don't need that slingshot at all. And things are looking a little bit framey. I recently upgraded my operating system, and it made everything super framey, which is a little obnoxious, but it kind of snaps out of it sooner than later, luckily. But yeah, I'm just farming copper and trying to get my mining level as high as I can, and just keeping my salad stocked. It's surprisingly chill to run this. So since you don't have anything to do on the farm, you can pretty much completely neglect it and only spend your time, clay farming here and just jumping down the mines. And this is our final day of this. We will never clay farm again for the remainder of winter. I know this is one of the kind of cheesier tactics. The only thing we really need to get to Ginger Island is going to be hardwood, and that's going to be one of our main problems. So we need to start upgrading our axe relatively soon, and we'll probably start doing that once we get a little extra money from the skull caverns. But for now, we'll just make our descent. None of these none of these levels are challenging by any means, so it's just a matter of waiting for a good luck and trying to just jet down as fast as you can. And once I'm out of here, I'll probably never go back to the regular mines again, unless I get the key room unlocked and I have the dangerous mines, but that's not looking too likely. And so we have a decent amount of money, nothing too impressive yet. And this is our last day in the regular mines, where we finally reach the bottom and we can finally start thinking about going to the desert. And we have almost enough money for the carts. I think we need 45,000 maybe, something like that. So tomorrow or by the end of today, we might be able to get in there. It is a holiday though, so that means we actually cannot enter the Joja. So tomorrow we'll have to do that. But we're on pace. I mean, for the most part, a couple wasted days early on just with foraging. We probably could have made an extra 2 days, I guess. Oh, look at that frame rate. It's just wonderful. But we at least got miners, so we'll start getting a lot more ore. And yeah, there's the extra little bit of money we need to unlock the carts. And we are also upgrading our axe for the first time. And once we get it up to steel, we'll be able to start getting into the secret woods and chopping down stumps. And like I said, that'll be the biggest barrier to entry for the desert, or for Ginger Island. Other than that, the iridium bars should be pretty easy, and the bats I don't think will be too challenging. Or sorry, the batteries, I guess, which come from the bats. Those shouldn't be too challenging. Once I'm like established in the Calico Desert, I should be able to just farm those out pretty quickly. And so this is our first day in the caverns. We had super good luck, which is great. And yeah, it's our first day in. We used the trick to speed Pam up, just to get into the caverns a little bit earlier. If you just stand in her way, she runs faster. That's the only thing. And then once we got there, we got our spicy eel, and we only had 1 diamond, which is kind of a bummer, but we'll be able to move a little bit faster and hopefully get our galaxy sword today. And I think, I may be wrong, but I think this is the last day of weird frame rates. I think I kind of resolved it, so unfortunately it happened during this run, which is unfortunate. And yeah, just diving down. It's a really basic run. I have a weak pickaxe, so it takes 3 hits, which is really, really obnoxious, but I should be able to rectify that relatively soon. Once I upgrade, I don't think I'll go past steel, just because I don't really have time. I can't lose 6 days to get all the way up to iridium. I think it's 6 days. Either way, I can't afford to do that. It just won't work. So we'll always kind of struggle a little bit with our pickaxe. And that'll kind of bring us down a tiny bit, but nothing major. I should still be able to get to Ginger Island and hopefully get things set up there. I don't even think, at this rate, I won't even really have time for a major crop. But I don't know, we'll see how things go. This first run has not been spectacular by any means. Most of it has just been like surprisingly bad luck, except for that. Prismatic shard is kind of nice. It was mostly just bad luck with finding ladders. We ended up only getting down to around 77. And here's where you see that frame rate just absolutely chunking the most. But we at least got our galaxy sword. That'll make things a little bit better. And we have a little bit of iridium to start getting money for the rest of Joja, so we can get to Ginger Island. And once we get in the swing of things, we should be netting like around 100k per caverns jump, and then we'll be in really good shape for getting our Ginger Island unlocked. And that was kind of the main goal all along, after I'd realized I couldn't do the foraging option. And oh yeah, I had some super good luck on this day. Not with the iridium bars there, but in these crates on the side, I got a lucky ring, which I wish I had that on most of my other saves. I don't tend to get those this early, like second day in the caverns, and I already have a lucky ring, so that is pretty nice. If only it helped my game not stutter around, but that's just kind of where we're at. And other than that, the rest of our run is just like this. Just caverns, caverns, caverns until we can get into Ginger Island. At this, I think we were probably looking at around like 6 days or so until we can actually get into the island. But yeah, we'll have level 10 mining pretty soon. And we should have enough batteries, hopefully. And we're waiting out here for our axe today. And we're going to start grinding away at the hardwood. I picked the forest farm specifically for that reason. That way we don't have to upgrade it to steel necessarily to start getting hardwood. We can just clear out this little left edge. It'll be nice to upgrade the axe one more time if we have the time to do it. But this should still get me enough hardwood in the next like 10 days or so. I can't remember how much you get, but I think we'll be okay. I should have grabbed that hardwood right there, but what are you gonna do? We ended up getting our level 5 and our level 10 in mining. And so we're fit to like start actually making some money now. And slowly gather hardwood. That's probably the worst part of the Ginger Island like grind. Because you have to spend a huge chunk of your day like running over either to the woods or to that side of your farm. And yeah, it's just kind of obnoxious. But we are able to afford our greenhouse today, which means we can also put in some starfruit. And we won't really we don't have sprinklers yet, because we don't have any farming XP, but we should be able to get them relatively quick. And we also have some sprinklers we found in the cavern, so we're in good shape. We'll be able to set up our greenhouse starting tomorrow. And yet another 25k isn't bad. And so yeah, like I said, we have enough sprinklers that we've found in the mines that we are able to set up. Oh, I messed up. That we're able to set up our greenhouse and get a little bit of starfruit growing and get our farming level a little bit up. We're kind of just trying to like pad those percentage numbers as much as we can. And getting your farming level up will help that, so. We'll just have to water this once today, and we'll only end up getting one harvest of starfruit, which we won't be able to sell as wine, which is kind of unfortunate, but oh well. And then we also got minecarts with our money at Joja, and now we're getting the quarry as well. I think we have enough money to buy everything. It's just a matter of waiting overnight to do it all. And we've also been upgrading our pickaxe in the meantime. Coal is always like my biggest problem, and it's no different here. You just don't get enough coal from skull caverns as you dive down. And we also decided to finally upgrade our axe, and we can kind of pick up our pace on the hardwood grind a little bit. Now that we don't need money, we can kind of spend a little more time going down to the secret woods and not have to worry about it. And then yeah, just caverns again. Our axe is still in the shop, so we might as well just spend time in the caverns. We had good luck, and there's really nothing else to do in the winter until we get Ginger Island. So today is when we get our axe and our final Joja unlock. We also can go and get the golden scythe, which is largely a waste of time, but I don't know why I like to do it. I like to see all my tools upgraded, and the golden scythe is the only way to upgrade that. And we also hit 250k, which is cool. So our money is actually looking okay for a season where you cannot grow any crops. And then yeah, into the woods to chop up some more wood. And then into the quarry, which occasionally you can get some good luck and have like magic rock candies drop from these guys. But, you know, today was not lucky, of course. And we got the golden scythe and headed back home. And on the 18th, we got our little fun cutscene and finished up the Joja warehouse. So now it's just kind of a matter of waiting for a letter from Willie and heading down and seeing Willie and getting our boat repaired. The only thing we're missing currently is 2 batteries, and luckily for us, we got plenty of bats on this particular floor, and we were able to knock it out pretty much just in time. Usually it's not, I mean, I tend to do this, like round up bats and kill them anyway, because they're a pretty good amount, like they're a pretty good source of like iridium and solar essences. But in this case, all I needed was that battery, so I could just grab that and bail. Nothing else to do here. I also got the lucky charm, just to up my luck a little bit more, and I was waiting for Willie to send me my letter, which I wasn't getting for whatever reason. And usually you get the letter the next day, but the problem I had is that when I set my game to winter, I accidentally messed everything up. And so right now I'm just getting a chest ready for when I can actually finally turn it in. But when I set the game up, I never got the letter from Willie saying that he had returned. So it always just says he's gone fishing, which I didn't realize was a problem until way too late. I thought he just wasn't there on Saturdays, and I checked on Sunday and he still wasn't there. So I had to do some kind of funky stuff. I had to like jet my time back to spring first, sleep overnight into the second to try and get the mail. It was a whole ordeal, but luckily it got fixed, and it didn't really cause too many problems. The only thing it did that kind of messed up was it like left a bunch of random forage from spring all over the place, but I just made sure I didn't pick it up, and that way it wouldn't impact my run at all. So whatever. Keep that in mind. If you want to do this for whatever reason, make sure Willie sends you mail. But yeah, we got the boat fixed. Yeah, there's some of that spring forage I was talking about. It just is kind of funky, but it's just the way it is. If you like mess with dates too much, it happens. And so there's our boat getting all fixed up, and we will head to Ginger Island first thing in the morning. And we have about 6 days left to try and make the most of that. This is one of my favorite cutscenes in the entire game. I just think it's fun, like, seeing everything from this point of view. It's great. Anyway, I'll speed this up really fast because it's just me dashing through getting as many golden walnuts as I can as quickly as I can. And I did some trial and error with that later on down the road because I didn't want to wait for the gem birds. But otherwise, I was just trying to get as many corners unlocked in Ginger Island as I possibly could. And the easiest way to do that is obviously just hoe everything up everywhere. Just unlock all the little bushes. Or, grab the nuts from the bushes. And then after that, we'll do a quick run through of the actual caves. What are they called? Volcano, there you go. Try and get a couple more, and hopefully we can spend tonight on the actual farmhouse. Ginger Island is always like a really nice breath of fresh air, especially from winter in Stardew, because everything is like alive again. And so I'm pretty happy to be here after like 21 days of weird grinding. And we also upgraded our pickaxe, which gave us efficient, which is largely the most useless power. And then yeah, we just polished off the last couple easy walnuts we could grab. I was hoping for, ideally I'll get powerful for our pickaxe. But yeah. Also, so the next day we did the memory game, which usually takes me an embarrassing amount of times. But I managed to get it in one. And if you also struggle with it, you could do the trick I was doing there, where you like pause by eating food and it doesn't pass time. It just gives you more time to try it over and over again. So yeah, just cruising on Ginger Island now. We're just kind of speeding through, trying to get as many walnuts as we possibly can. Ideally, I will be able to unlock the, what is it called? The cave, or like Keys Cave or whatever, the Key Walnut Room. There you go, Walnut Room. But it's not looking super good. I had neglected to stock up on seeds from the night market. And so I can't do the gourmand walnuts, which are really valuable. And I guess I also wouldn't have been able to do garlic anyway because it wasn't the second year. So that's kind of where we're at. We ended up getting our powerful pickaxe and eventually solving the rain bird problem. And so we have the resort unlocked, and we also have the eastern side unlocked there too, so that's kind of nice. And we're up to 412,000 earned so far, so not quite half of what our goal was. And so it's the 26th, and this is our final dive into the caverns. I figure I might as well do one last one to try and make a little extra money. And, well, it didn't really go that well. It went okay, but it fell really, really short of what I was needing it to be. We ended up on a decent, like, floor, but I was hoping for a little over 500 iridium, and we didn't end up making that mark. Not that it really matters because we don't have enough furnaces to smelt it all, but I was hoping to get, you know, a couple $100,000 worth of iridium bars. We did set up a few more furnaces just so we could try and make as much money as we possibly could. And then we also bought the Galaxy Hammer and headed back to Ginger Island after we harvested our starfruit. This is going to be the only farming we do, I guess, on the entire run. We didn't utilize the Ginger Island farm at all, but we did hit level 4 farming. And I mean, it's not bad, 25,000, but what are you going to do? I think we missed I was kind of shooting for 1 million gold. Not like, I didn't really think I would get it, but it was something I was kind of hoping for. And I think we're going to be pretty far away from that. We got a couple other things knocked out here. I think we got 70 total artifacts donated. And we got our farm set up for, you know, no reason at all. I don't know why I even did this. Just something to do. But it does, like, I don't know, it kind of goes to show you can get a lot done in winter. And, like, some people just sleep all the way through it. But it's really not necessary. You can get, you know, a pretty fair amount of money, especially if you're already set up from playing the rest of the year. And this is pretty much the last day. I decided to sell everything I had and call it essentially the last day before we did little cleanup stuff on the 28th. We got a few extra golden walnuts, but we are once again a little bit short. We did not earn enough to unlock the walnut room, and that was kind of expected towards the end there. We do end up getting a fishing rod and trying to fish up a couple of those walnuts and trying to add a couple fish to the completion percentage, but really it wasn't much. We didn't get much done. It was kind of a Hail Mary, I guess, to try and get the rest of the golden walnuts I needed. I ended up just a little bit short. And that was kind of it. We end up, you know, finishing this run up pretty anticlimactically. I sold a couple extra little things just to get them in the book. And, like, once again, just to boost our percentage. And I cheated this open, obviously, because we didn't have quite enough to get in. But I wanted to see, as far as, like, perfection goes, where we ended up. So we were short a few golden walnuts, and not great overall. 31%, I guess, is okay. 14 out of 25 farmer level isn't too bad. 0% cooking, of course. 7% crafting is bad. Fish caught, a nice 1%, so... yeah, not impressive in that sense. 600k is pretty good for money. And, yeah, I think I had to cheat in like 30 walnuts. We were really far off. But, you know, that's kind of where we ended up in farming level. Yeah, I don't know. I felt pretty good about it. I think if I did it again, I would obviously skip anything to do with foraging, get into Ginger Island a little bit earlier, get something set up in the greenhouse sooner, and try and like boost up that farming level. But, you know, didn't hit our goals, but we did okay. So I'll see you all next time.